Hi Sugarfoot and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new, please subscribe, and if you're returning, thank you so much. So this video is going to be about how to research the doctor or midwife that you're choosing for your birth. The first thing that you want to consider before even looking into doctors or midwives or doulas is what type of birth that you want. I personally would suggest getting at least part of your birthing plan down before you look into the doctor that you want, because it'll help you to navigate what type of doctor or midwife you want to go with. So what you need to know, I'm so out of breath. So what you need to consider is what type of birth you want to have. Do you want to have a medicated birth or unmedicated birth? Are you okay with C-sections or are you absolutely against it? Do you want to have a home birth? Are you okay with hospitals? Do you want to do it at a birthing center? These are some things that you need to consider when you're looking for a healthcare provider during your pregnancy. When I say unmedicated or medicated, unmedicated means that you're against using any sort of pain meds. I would prefer to have an unmedicated birth as well as no interventions. So that means no Pitocin, no nothing, okay? Nothing at all. I tend to have very bad reactions when I use any sort of drug. When I say very bad, I mean like I'll have a crazy allergic reaction or I'll end up having an anxiety attack. So no drugs for me. But some people are okay with using medication, using like the epidural or the Pitocin or having like their water bag broken. I know those are things that I do not want. I want my body to just do as it would naturally without any intervention at all. Because usually one intervention leads to another. But you need to know your limits and what you're comfortable with before you go look for a doctor. That way you can know, okay, I want a doctor with a low VBAC rate or a high VBAC rate. Now what VBAC is vaginal birth after cesarean section. So usually doctors recommend women that have C-sections usually continue with the C-section. So if you had one, they'll recommend getting another one if you have another child. But there are doctors that are adamant on vaginal births, and that will do a great job with a vaginal birth after a cesarean. So you need to know the percentage rate for VBAC for the doctor that you're looking for or the midwife that you're looking for. So choosing where you want to have your baby will make a big difference. Because if you're gonna go with a hospital, then you're most likely gonna go with a GYN or OB. I said GYN. You're most likely gonna go with an OB. If you're going for more of like a birth center feel, you're most likely gonna go for a midwife and a doula, and for a home birth, also a midwife and a doula. It's like all completely different fields. So for instance, a hospital is more medical, more clinical. A birthing center can be somewhere in between depending on what hospital the birthing center is affiliated with. That's also something that you need to consider when looking for a healthcare provider. Some hospitals have birthing centers in them, but then there are some birthing centers that are separate from the hospital, but they're still affiliated to where if any complications happen during birth, they can just transfer you to that hospital. And you also need to know, when considering birthing centers, you need to know the distance the birthing center is from the hospital. Just to consider that there might be something that goes wrong. As for home births, those can be a little tricky depending on where you live, what hospital your doula or midwife is affiliated with. So when writing up your birthing plan, you need to consider the procedures of the hospital or the birthing center that you choose. So when I say procedures, I mean like when I'm admitted, can I walk around? Yeah, you could come in. You can come in. You have to knock. So those are things that you need. Where am I? Okay, so when considering a hospital or a birthing center, you need to know the procedures that they follow, like admittance. When do they admit you? When is it right for them to admit you? When you are admitted, what are the restrictions you have or the guidelines? Can you walk around during your labor, or are you confined to the bed? Can you switch positions during labor? Can the baby stay with you overnight, or does it have to go somewhere else? Just certain parameters like that. Or if you're a anti-vaxxer, you need to know what sort of vaccines they give initially and which ones you can refuse, which ones are mandatory. These are just things to consider with every hospital or birthing center that you're at. I don't know why I'm talking like that. One of the main concerns for me when I was considering it was whether I can walk around, because I know walking helps so much. It helps a great deal with getting the baby into position. Changing positions. I wanted to know if I would be able to listen to my body and change positions when I wanted to, or if I had to just stay still, because that's something that I don't want to do. If I feel like I need to move in a certain way, I want to be able to do that without the doctors or nurses telling me no. And music, I need music to calm me. I have my own playlist that I'm going to be playing during my labor. So those are like big concerns for me, as well as vaccines. I wanted to know what vaccines were given to the baby the day of. So knowing your birthing plan, knowing where you want to have your baby, whether you want it to be medicated, unmedicated, somewhere in between, the setting you want to be in, as well as the procedures that you're okay with following, helps you to choose the hospital as well as the doctor. So what you need to research for the hospital is the hospital's overall rate when it comes to childbirth. Are they high in C-sections? Is that something that you need to consider? Is that something that you're not totally with? Are they high in vaginal births? Because there's some hospitals where doctors have never seen a vaginal birth. And that's something that you need to know. Because it's like, if you've never seen one, then you're probably not geared towards vaginal births. Consider all of these things when researching a doctor. Know their history. Get to know their qualifications too. So the doctor that I'm with now has a very long history within the medical field, has multiple accolades and awards, and has a very high VBAC rate as well as vaginal birth rate overall. So that was great for me. And the medical provider that I have right now is his wife, which is a midwife. And I love them because they are heavily geared towards vaginal birth, okay, natural vaginal birth. And it was the first place that I went to where they had those steps and procedures for how to avoid a cesarean on the wall. I had never seen that in any other place that I've been to. So I was happy about that. And as I started to talk to her about my birthing plans and just ask questions and state my concerns, she made me feel a lot more comfortable about having them as my health provider. So I know that she and I are on the same page with what I want for my birth. So this is what you want to have with your doctor. You don't ever want to feel uneasy about going into birth, or you don't want to ever feel pressured into doing something that you don't necessarily want to do, because usually that's when you regret certain aspects of your birth, and you want it to be like a very good experience. You want this to be something memorable, but not for the wrong reasons. Those are the things to consider when you're researching the healthcare provider or doctor, midwife, doula that you're using. And let me know if you guys would want to see a video on midwifery and doulas, because I can explain those things to you as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe, okay? Please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Oh, wait. Let me do a belly shot. So I feel like in the past 3 days, my stomach has stretched significantly. So I've been rubbing the crap out of my stomach with some Vaseline and shea butter and cocoa butter and mango butter. I am 27 weeks in 4 days. So I'll be 7 months in 3 days. This is my belly. Tupac. This is my belly. Almost 3 days shy of 7 months. Let's see if it looks better when this is where I'm at. And I feel like my stomach has just been stretching like crazy the past couple of days. I can literally feel it, and it's weird, okay? It's the weirdest thing ever. But yeah. Thank you for watching my video. If you're here at this moment, you watched it all the way through, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Their guidelines, their restrictions. What are you texting me? Excuse me. Papa Bear just came in the room and he was watching me. I'm talking about low, but whatever. Yeah. Papa Bear just came in the room, interrupted the video, and was watching me record. And now he's texting me. So, one of the. Okay, so let me think. Where was I? He just interrupted my whole thought. But yes, guys.